and it should be a grand old time. You guys ready? I know I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. I'm gonna start here. Right now. So we're gonna name our hero, of course, SaGa. Along with his friends, A, and A. And you start off the game in a battle simulator, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we're gonna start off with one trick already. I'm gonna take this dude's axe off, because it's awesome. And he's gonna cast spells instead. And you're thinking, man, like, he's a guest character, and your guest characters are typically very strong. It's like, why would you want to take your strongest character's strong weapon away? The good news is that technically, he's gonna leave my party, and then immediately rejoin my party. And when he rejoins my party, he'll actually have that axe again. For some reason. So I take his axe off, because it's a free awesome weapon, and then he comes back with another one. That way, literally everybody wins. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So, you know, I played this game casually and it didn't really make sense, and then I started speedrunning it, but when you speedrun, you don't really read anything. And so, I probably don't know all of the plot points, and I know, really, they didn't fill in a lot of stuff anyway. So really, I'll just fill in the empty details with my own hypotheses that I'm sure are probably going to be pretty correct. And so really, here you are, you have three main characters, SaGa, A, and they're from the future. A future where a giant pot of water is flooding the world and bringing in monsters, and this pot of water is from like another dimension or something. So not only does this game have time travel, it's got like interdimensional travel as well. It's like, man, I don't know. Like DC multiverse meets like all of the Back to the Future is at the same time. It's pretty incredible. So you get sent from your doomed future to the past, which is known as the present. You confused yet? And you grow up there, along with the Elder's granddaughter named A. And you've been training your whole life to deal with this problem. And now is finally the fated day where you're gonna do that. And you're supposed to just go with the three of you, but A wants to join you because she like loves you, I think. I'm pretty sure. But they don't exactly give you a lot of background for that. And then Myron, or whatever his name is, because I don't look at him, is like, he's a badass, or he's cool. And you want him anyway. So here they're telling you about the ship, the Talon, which is a time machine and stealth bomber. But it doesn't work, like, at all. You really just have, like, a shell. And so the first thing you have to do is find what we call units for the ship to make it do things. And so that's your first mission. You need to get to a guy who might have a unit, but before you can even get to him, you have to be able to fly over. So you have to actually go to another dungeon to get a flying spell first. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna buy this ice spell, because ice is really good. And then, we're gonna stop by the item shop here. And we're gonna buy some cures, because we need some healing items. Then we're gonna put that Phantom Battle Axe on A, and have A learn Ice 1. And then we're gonna move this radar all the way down there, because who cares? And then I'm gonna save the game and turn it off. Now I'm resetting it though. And I'm gonna load the game, and immediately I'm gonna start walking. And I'm gonna start walking towards the dungeon. And as long as I don't mess up anywhere, then I'm gonna get an encounter right here. Which is what we want. So this encounter is cool. for two reasons. Number one, you really do not want to go into the North Tower without being at least level 2, because the enemies in there will destroy you. The other good news is this fight actually has a drop that I can use as well, assuming I get it, which I probably will. But then I did. Did I? That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that. And that's awesome. Oh, not dropping the F-bomb. So, let me tell you about the first great segment of this run, dubbed the FMA, where, unfortunately, all of my party members kind of suck, and we need to make changes. We need to fix that, because either we need to do a lot of grinding, or else it's just not going to happen. So, what we're going to do here, right now, is fight a pair of flowers, a bunch of orcs, and a bunch of rats. And we're gonna hope they drop some strange leftover body part, robot body part, that we're gonna take and fuse with our own essence, and thus also become robots ourselves. Because as it turns out, robots in this game have some pretty neat features. Oh my goodness. What is this? So you can already see right now, you look at A, and when I first gave him a robot part, he turned into a cyborg, which is kind of like half human, half robot. And then I gave him another one, and now he's like this rat-looking thing. And I know this rat doesn't look very threatening, and looks very cute, but rest assured, that rat's gonna kick some butt. And I want to do that with two characters. The two boys there on the left. Now, there is manipulation in this game. There's absolutely encounter manipulation. That's why you see me resetting and then doing stuff. Now, this game is very, 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 very much frame-based. So it's very hard to manipulate this in real time. But the good news is there's certain things you can make sure you do frame perfectly every time. So if I hold the A button when I'm loading the game, it takes a little bit of time. It's a little slow. You can mash faster than holding A. But what holding A allows me to do is always load my game on the same frame every time. And then as long as I buffer my movement and walk, without lagging anywhere, then all of my results are always going to be the same. So manipulation has been mapped out in a lot of different ways for me to save in that spot, walk over to the tower, walk into the tower, and then get this exact encounter where I can get the parts that I need. Now from there, what I get after battle, assuming anything, is dependent upon what frame I hit the advance button. As soon as the WON dialog box comes up. But I have no idea what frame is going to drop apart, nor do I have any clue how many of those frames have something that I want. So I couldn't tell you what the percentage drop for a drop is, but not super high. And so this goes to show basically why the speedrun's hilarious. And that's okay, yeah, that's fine. Because before you can even get your speedrun going, I'm gonna change my controls. I completely forgot to do that. You have to get the good RNG to try to get your robot parts in a rather quick manner. What's fortunate about this new route, though, is that... Ow. Okay, I'm resetting this. I don't want that. And in fact, I don't have to farm here anymore anyway, so I'm not going to. So now I'm level 3. I have 3 out of my 4 robot parts, and we're just gonna go ahead and scale the tower, and then I'm gonna manipulate an encounter on my way down. Everything else in the meantime I'm gonna run away from. Because I actually don't want too much experience. So this game, as well as the other SaGa games, really does have a robust eating system, if you want to call it that. You can eat monster meat just like in the others, and become like beasts and monsters, or mutants and monsters, or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who could possibly know that? But on the other flip side, you can eat robot parts to become a cyborg and then a robot. And each and every single thing, if you will, all have their pros and cons. So, if you kind of keep people in their normal form, like, they don't really have any super ridiculously strong advantages or disadvantages, and ultimately it's hard for them to keep up. This game is not really that easy casually. If you turn into a cyborg, they can still use spells as well as robot talents, and that's kind of cool. But they don't really get stat bonuses anymore. They're at least especially HP and MP and whatnot. That stuff only goes up as you improve their gear. And right now, I don't exactly have access to very good gear anyway. I'm just realizing I need to change my strategy here. But it's absolutely not a bad strategy to use cyborgs later on, because if you got the money, you can beef them up, because you're probably going to buy gear anyway. It's, you know, typical RPG, right? But yeah, and then the deal with robots is that they're really terrible, but what you can do is you can buy items that boost their stats. The problem is you have to, you know, spend money buying items, and you might not be able to do that in a very quick manner. Luckily, here in the any percent run, as opposed to glitchless, we have a solution for money. That's not a problem. So really the only problem, big problem that I'm facing right now, I made the same mistake, is getting the robot parts that I need. So, we can all agree I got my first 3 parts pretty quickly, but right now I'm stuck. I'm stuck here until I get an Orb Rat drop, and if I don't get an Orb Rat drop, I have to get an Orb Rat drop. I have to. So, we could be done this fight. It could take another 5 minutes. It could take another hour. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't take an hour, but it taking another like 5 to 10 minutes is definitely not uncommon at all. It's unfortunate that Curtis, or I guess A, died there, because I do want everyone to be level 4, which means I might just have to make up a fight later. But if I don't get the drop anyway, then it doesn't matter. And I didn't. So the good news is that the old route had 3 of these segments, and none of which are as bad as this one. But still, that's kind of tough to deal with. So, thankfully, with this new route, this is easily the biggest, like, heavy RNG portion I'll have to deal with today. Boss RNG is always going to be a thing, no matter what route you have. And ultimately, boss RNG is probably going to play a bigger role here in this new one. But it's still, at least as far as like you having to sit here and watch me farm, we've narrowed that down to just right now instead of like all the time. So that's good news. But as you can see, if I don't get the part I want, I just gotta sit here for however long. The good news about this specific manipulation is a bit safer, a bit faster, because it's always guaranteed to be a strike first. So that's pretty cool. Old as in Pox, no, well, even what I was doing, even what Magus was doing, Cat Claw literally just came out with something very brand new that I just saw yesterday. And I'll be doing it today. No, I don't want meat. Alright, we got this. We got this. We got this, dude. As Clear Tonic once said, one and done, do you feel me? That's probably why I see Flower far more than I see Rat. I'm usually hesitant to take Rat on Arthur or SaGa, but it is what it is. Let me stick with my superstitions. Fifth time? I think we're well past that. I've heard that. I've seen it, anecdotally, I don't know that. And it's not really marathon luck so much as it is just running this game. And I mean, I can handle being here for a solid while. Obviously, I wouldn't want you guys sitting here for forever, so hopefully we get this real soon. Ay, ay, ay. Never lucky, dude. Never lucky. Everybody's coming out with their own emotes these days, dude. Oh, baby! There you go. Boom shakalaka. I need to fight one more battle. Because A needs level 4. Everybody needs to be level 4 for some trick I'm gonna do later. We're at a 19-minute grind, really. Which is awful. But you know what? For a marathon run, that's amazing. I'm not gonna fight that. So now that we have the float spell, which is not exactly... Okay, this is the fight I'm gonna fight right now. So, you might recognize this encounter, and it's the exact same encounter as the one in the simulation, which you're not allowed to run from. And instead of programming a different fight, because why would you ever do that, especially back in the day, it's exactly the same fight, and so it has the same flag to not let you run. So, I would have to fight it even if I didn't want to, but I really wanted to. Now that being said, I never want to run into that encounter ever again. So let's just hope you don't. Anyway, we have the float spell. It turns into a giant ice cream cone and just lets you fly around. Pretty cool. Before we... Actually, I'll talk to him first. This is who you're supposed to visit, and why we had to go to the North Tower, because you need a travel mechanism. His name's what, Kronos? Yeah. And so you're like, what up? We were sent by the Elder, and we have this radar. And he's like, what are you trying to do? And so you're like, okay, we want to, like, get all these units for the ship and save the world. And he's like, cool, I just happen to have the unit you need to travel to the past right here in my pocket. And you're like, dang, that's awesome. So you take it. I'm gonna buy some SaGas and a little bit of napalm. SaGas are cool because they up your agility some. We like going fast. And we're getting some napalm because right now my robot stats. I'll save it too. Why not? Why not? Let's save it. They suck. Like, they're just bad. But luckily, napalm doesn't work off stats. It's just gonna do a flat 50 damage, no matter what, no matter who. But napalm is weird. So I bought 2, right? But when I equip one person, oh, you're dead. They actually equip both. So what I had to do was buy 2 and equip those 2, and then I had to buy another 2 separately. So if I just bought 4 straight off the bat, one person would have equipped all 4. And now that we're making progress, the masters, who are like the bad guys from the other dimension, I didn't know you could crit napalm. That's awesome. That's pretty amazing. They send their first little monster after you, the water hag. Who's easy to deal with. He was probably gonna kill 1 or 2 party members, but you know, whatever. So I'm gonna save a lot. Like, I really don't want any extra encounters. Like, you don't even know, because it's a pretty sensitive setup that's about to happen here. I see. I really need to go in that shop. Thank you. So what I'm gonna do here is buy stuff. Yeah. And all I really want to do is make sure that I'm under 110 gold. There's a little bit of trickery that's about to happen here. I'm gonna save again, just in case I get an extra encounter, because again, I really just don't want one. This one's fine, because at least I can run from it. And now we're gonna make our way to our time machine. It can't fly, but it can still time travel. And then Myron here has a little change of heart, and he's like, you know, we probably shouldn't all go, because everybody there sucks and can't fight, so I better just protect literally everybody. And you're like, alright, makes sense, peace. And then we warp to the past. So, you might remember me talking about robots, full robots, and how they work, and how you basically have to buy their stats. And you're like, dang. Especially in a speed run, how the heck am I supposed to get all that money? Well, do I have a solution for you? First, I'm going to do a little bit of encounter manipulation. I'm going to walk down here, walk to the right a little bit, walk back over to the shore. And I'm going to sit here. And I'm going to hit this guy. Oh, I messed up. Ha 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 ha. Oopsie. One other thing I need to do is I need to make sure I absolutely do not have those weapons on. My bad. Round 2. You don't want those on. Alright, try again. Boom. And I just got stolen from by 110 gold. That number might sound familiar to you. It's a number I wanted to make sure I didn't have. And I want you to look at my money here in the bottom right corner. So enemies always steal a fixed amount, and thieves always steal 110. And if you happen to have less than that amount, then of course you get the quality classic underflow, where you fall into the negative gold amount and it just wraps you around, and now I have tons of money, which solves my terrible stat problem, because now I have the funds to make sure my robots are pretty dang strong. And that was pure manipulation right there. I had to load specifically, I had to walk specifically. And actually my actions had to be pretty specific too. But now I have hella money. Hella money. I'm gonna ditch a bunch of this stuff because it's in my way. And I have so many items that I would like them to be a little bit higher. Another quick, nice little trick of this game is that the select button kind of acts as a turbo in conjunction with your A button in certain circumstances, including here in the menu. Unfortunately, you can't turbo buy. But you can turbo use, which does speed this up a little bit. You can do this in battle too, so when you like know what your commands need to be, you can turbo that as well. You can also turbo scroll. But yeah, so it's pretty useful in some circumstances. So what we're gonna do is buy 33 of each pill for both robots. Which unfortunately is you watching me do this. For a while. And that's an unfortunate part of the speedrun as well, as the beginning is just... beginning's just kind of rough. There's just no going around that. If you want the fastest speedrun possible, this is the stuff you gotta do. Purest form. And oddly enough, there actually does have to be a rhythm for your mashing. Straight mashing kind of doesn't really work in this. Alright, let's just double check that we got 99 of each. And we do. So we're out of here. Alright. Yeah, this guy gives you the Flush X, which is a unit for your ship. And basically allows you to undo anything that you've eaten either way. If you're just like, if you immediately regret your decisions, you can just get rid of it and try again later, or never try again, or what have you. But I'm okay with my decision, so we're fine. Now, I know that was like probably a little boring, you know, like, wow, I just watched that guy buy and use 66 pills. And I'm sorry to tell you that I'm gonna do it again. Because we gotta get all the stats, all of them. I'm gonna do some equipping, because I did buy some stuff. Oops. And then we're gonna do exactly what you just saw me do previously. Good game, right? At least the turbo using made this section a tad bit faster. Alright, so I kinda have to work a little backwards for the plot. I'm not exactly sure. I know you want to find some stuff in the past here. But we'll have to catch up in a moment. Another question you may have is why? Why, bichphuongballz, would you possibly... Why would you possibly... want to use... Oh, I didn't buy enough. Why would you possibly want to use... HP pills past 999? It's because you can actually have slightly past 999 HP, which is kind of weird, and it doesn't tell you that. And it actually does kind of come in handy. Now, there still is a cap. I can't sit here all day and have like 1,000,000 HP. It'd be nice. But no. What you're gonna have is, 1,021 hit points, which is actually useful. You might not think 22 extra hit points is useful, but it actually is, and I'll let you know when that is. Okay. Now we can speedrun. So I'm gonna save and reset here. Remember, I'm just holding A there. Although there are other ways to do this, and I'll let you know. And I really want to be careful with my movement here. It's less important now, but later on, my levels are not exactly going to be that great. And that doesn't really matter as far as my stats are concerned. But it certainly does matter in terms of running away and getting ambushed and things like that. And as we all know, getting ambushed, it doesn't exactly save a whole lot of time. And so what's routed into this game as best as possible is encounter skips. As silly as it might seem, and you're going to see me resetting a fair bit, it's all going to be worth it. Because as long as I do things correctly, in most dungeons, in most dungeons, I should not be getting an encounter. That's not going to be true 100% of the time, but I shouldn't. And so here we are, we're in the South Cave, and you really, really want to talk to the Elder of Elan, I guess at this point it would be. And she's gone off because a monster named Dagra has kidnapped this girl, Lara. Who is this girl right here? So we're gonna talk to her, and she says Gur and Egger, I guess. And we're like, damn, she's messed up. She's all messed up. So we have to wake her up, she says. And we're gonna do that by beating the ever-living crap out of her and killing her immediately. Nah, just kidding. She's still alive. It's fine. It's fine. And then she's gonna join our party. And it's all good. She's actually still completely usable, even though we just punched her in the face. She's a tough gal. She's a tough gal. And then we get some name drops here. Borgin. Borgin's the guy who sent you into the past into the first place. And then he brings you up, and you're like, huh? And then they fight you. And then here's another great part about SaGa speedrunning, is I just got ambushed by that boss that was just right in front of me. That's pretty cool. So right now, and for basically most of the game, A and A are pretty useless, and I'm not really gonna care. They're gonna die, or maybe not, and it's fine. Lara is kind of useful. She'll throw out some lit 2s, or sorry, lit 1s, and it's cool. Yeah, so here we got Dogra. He's like an angel worm from a black hole with an eyeball in his mouth. Which is probably pretty intense, so... Luckily, we're super rat robots, and it's not a big deal. We got this. We straight up got this. Like, you just did 22 damage to me, and I don't care. You know? Whatever, dude. I hope you guys can hear those dogs in the background. That would be pretty good. And you're like, huh, you know Borgin, what's up? And then he just dies, so you're like, dang. And then you get into an encounter, because you're walking to the area that you want to encounter manipulate from. So I'm going to save here. And this is going to be a select A hold, not just an A. So you can see, maybe, you probably didn't pay attention, but it queued up the load a little bit faster. And then I'm going to try to walk all the way back to town without lagging at my steps or making a misstep. And as long as I do that, I shouldn't get an encounter. The good news about this dungeon is that I'm basically the correct level for it, so I don't really get ambushed here. I mean, you can get ambushed, but it really doesn't happen much. Oh, I just messed up right there. So now we just gotta go YOLO it. But definitely you wouldn't want this kind of stuff happening later, because you will lose lots of time. And that would just be really unfortunate. But it's okay, I don't care right now. We get to spend some quality time walking with my rat friends. There he is! You are correct, but you don't need it at all, which is cool. You can just save the frames and then leave. And then lose all of those frames, and then some, because you messed up the encounter manipulation and got 4 extra encounters. Technically, I only had 3, but as soon as I said 4, I got the 4th one. So, I was almost gonna, like, proclaim myself God, but I got 5, so I'm a phony, I'm sorry. Speedrun cancelled. Okay, so here you're talking to the granny, and she just trusts you, and we're like, yeah, we're taking the girl, and we're from the future, and she's like, cool, here's the dive spell. I know, I've let him down. And what the dive spell is, it's basically your RPG submarine, so you can use the spell, and then you can travel in water, and you can actually submerge as well. We'll be doing that later. But in the meantime, I gotta return to the present to take this girl that I found in the past to the present, for her to stay in the present for reasons, so that she can attend the World's Warrior tournament. And I don't know. That's my hypothesis, anyway. We saved her in the past. Actually, I think she's from here, and they kidnapped her and took her to the past, I think is what it is, and you went and rescued her. But who's gonna tell you that? Like, no one's gonna tell you that. You just gotta make it up as you go along. Very arguable if, like, this manipulation is even required. I'm really just going to the town. Kind of just trying to build it into my muscle memory. These encounters should be runnable from anyway, but you never know. So now you're gonna talk to Kronos again, and he goes, he found out where the future unit was, and he tells you who has it. Ashura in the South Tower, but then another castle pops up, and he's just like, oh man, so you need to hurry on the double. Luckily, he copied the South Tower key at some point in time in his life, just waiting for the day that he brings it back to you, so that you can go there. Which I'm very thankful for, because I mean, what if we couldn't get in that dungeon, dude? We messed up. So what we're gonna do here is we gotta go to the South Tower to find Ashura, and Ashura is gonna have something that's gonna give us access to Chaos's castle, and then we gotta go to Chaos's castle to get the future unit so we can go back to the future. So manipulation really does, thanks Ghost King, it really does have its shortcomings. Maybe not shortcomings, but like there's just certain things you can't do with it. Because again, you do have to be frame perfect. That sucks. And as soon as you have to get into a dialogue box, or a jump, or anything like that, you really can't do that frame perfectly. So manipulation, or in spots in the game where you have to do that kind of stuff, you can't manipulate, which means you have to you run the chance of getting ambushed like I just did. And you run the chance of getting ambushed like a lot. So you can see there, like, what if I got that ambush like 5 to 20 times per dungeon? You can imagine like what your time looks like. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. And now you're like, give us the units, and he's telling you it's at Chaos's castle. And he's gonna give me something else. I wonder what it is. It's an ambush. Shoot, dude, I did not see that coming. Did you see it? You didn't. No one saw that coming. If you saw it coming, you're a liar. Right now, it seems like my party is really, really overpowered, and it's pretty dang true right now. It still takes a while to kill bosses, but not that bad, you know, like 5 turns or so. And chances are they can't possibly do enough damage to me for me to need to heal. And that's probably going to be the case for maybe about half the game. And then from there, bosses get crazy. First and foremost, because they have tons and tons and tons of HP, so you really can't, like, outlast them. And they actually do a lot of damage, too. Like, even though my defense is 99, they do lots of damage. And so I'm really not as overpowered as you think I am. It really doesn't make this game free, but certainly a solid portion of the game is free. Absolutely. And we're in that portion right now. So we beat him up. You do have to grab that chest because it lets you into Chaos's castle. So here in a pitfall, you can still stay frame perfect because I can just hold down or wherever I have to move, and it's all good. But again, with a jump or a treasure chest or talking to someone, it can't happen. So here we're gonna see Dive, who's just hanging out in the bubble. Oh wow. Check out this luck, dude. And this is one of the worst parts as far as encounters, because for about half of Chaos's castle, and obviously including on the way to his castle, I cannot manipulate encounters at all. So I'm at the mercy of the video game right now. So what I'll kind of sort of do is pick some arbitrary spots to save. And if I get into an ambush that's going to take a while, then I may as well reset and try again, because that's going to take less time. This is pretty rough, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably on like a seed. Well, I mean, it's not really a seed thing though, but sometimes it feels that way, where I'm going to get a lot of encounters right away. The good news is that, for whatever reason, oh my goodness. Like, I haven't gotten ambushed yet. Here we are. Ay, ay, ay. But it's just one of those things. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you get through here, no problem. Sometimes you get through here with encounters, but you run away from all of them. Sometimes you get through here and you get 12 ambushes. It just is what it is. I'm probably fairly lucky that I've only been ambushed by one out of the, like, 12 million I've had. It would be pretty rough for a PB attempt to see this for sure, but obviously for a marathon run, I mean, it's really just not a big deal. But, you know, however you feel about manipulation, at this point, at least, even if you don't agree with it, you can probably understand why it exists, because you're trying to do a speedrun, and you're losing a billion hours, and it's just because you're getting ambushed, and like it wasn't because you were bad at the game or made a mistake or something like that. Luckily for the rest of Chaos's Castle, this will not be an issue, and we will just proceed straight to the boss as long as I don't screw up. There are treasures here, of course, but you really don't need them. I hope you guys can hear the ice cream truck now, too. And I hope it's very pleasing to your ears. The manipulation in this game is kind of weird. Like I said, it's frame-based, but from there, like, I kind of know at what step I might get one in certain scenarios. It's kind of weird. And, like, if I stop moving, then it changes everything completely. So it's like this weird, mostly frame thing, but kind of, sort of, oops. Kind of, sort of step thing too, but mostly frame. So here we have Chaos. He's a pretty terrible boss. Probably one of the first walls for people to play casually. He's got a decent amount of hit points, but the main thing is he dishes out a ton of damage. Mostly from either Quake or Shake, I forget what he does. He does Quake. Okay. Another boss does Shake. So the plan here is ideally for me to just out-damage him. And I was gonna say the more he headbutts, the better off we are, but he crit me, so that's actually kind of bad. Well, it's not bad yet, but he like does it a million times. So there he missed, and it all evens out. Yeah, exactly. It's very difficult to keep your whole party up, especially if he keeps quaking you. But luckily, he's still in the portion of the game where my robots are just really strong. Yeah, so with this new route, there's no more farming anymore. We're actually done. The first farming session, first and only, is bad now. Or was bad for here, rather, but it was about 19 minutes. But I'll take that any day of the week for a no reset, for sure. But where we lose farming, we're now going to gain boss RNG that actually matters in terms of completion, not just time. And that's really just the last one, although Balor can kind of be a meanie too. But I have a feeling you guys will enjoy Aggron later. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright, so we got the future unit from Chaos. The main... Oh, crap, I messed up. The main thing here... Oh... is not messing... Man, I'm letting Catclaw down, dude. Oh my goodness. This is not how you play this game. Or is it how you play this game? Depends on who you talk to, I guess. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying anymore. Yeah. So, you gotta remember that other dimension. There's like a big boss bad guy, and then he's got like other bad guys, and they're all called like the Masters, because they're all powerful and ruining people's lives and stuff. And so you're really kind of just traveling through time, trying to confront different Masters because they have stuff you want, or are in your way, or know something you need to know. Chaos is definitely one of those people or things. But what he does give us here is the ability to go to the future now. So we're gonna go ahead and install that and head straight there. I was debating doing this manipulation, but after how many ambushes I got, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. There's definitely spots where it's just like, if you YOLO it and you don't get encounters, that's definitely faster. But if you do get an encounter and ambush, then man, rip time. So I'm in Elan again. This is the future version. Now everybody's all old and stuff. And if you actually look at the world maps and whatnot, it actually has like the world in the same spot, or places in the same spot. Just the world's just like way more flooded, which is pretty cool. Yeah, okay. We're gonna buy a tear gas, but it works like napalms to where I need to equip it first. Struggling, dude. Struggling. That's it. That's literally it. Before you can buy another one. Need you either. And we're gonna put tear gas on you as well. Tear gas is a lot like napalm. We need to leave now. But it's just gonna do good damage, and it's basically an AoE, so it's pretty nice. And upgrade our equipment just a little bit, just a little bit. Then we're gonna head over to Viper City. There's actually a story trigger that you're supposed to do before coming here. You're supposed to get a password before they let you into headquarters, but we're gonna attempt to not do that. Let me check on this game sound then.